I am in my backyard. We have a storm coming in. I just knew I had to speak audibly, and then hopefully I can upload to a Substack. Sometimes it's not good to hide behind words. Sometimes you need to be present and in the presence of what you're present to. So, just to give you a little background history, I'm not making this up. There are people in my lives who could attest to seeing me in my 30s and 40s and early 50s before what I would call before I embodied. And I was hypersensitive. And I know nowadays being as sensitive is not as unusual. In my day, you were considered off, maybe even psychotic. But a group of people, they could feel what was moving through me and it contributed to their lives. And they also knew that I was fragile. And so they built a community around me, not to worship or adore me, or as some people accuse them of being groupies, what a shame, but to care for me and to protect the information and the carrier of the information for a long time, maybe as much as 40 years. And now there's more sensitives and there are more people who are present to the deep channel of life and the wisdom. And I've really enjoyed reading some of them on Substack. It's a much more familiar world than it was when a few of us got started back in the 60s. But I'd forgotten something that today was a brutal reminder. I'm a cellular empath. I wouldn't be so surprised if there isn't a lot of people that are. It's just that we've gotten so caught in the psychological culture that we don't recognize other sensitivities and people that carry those sensitivities, just like autistic children, and the beauty of telepathy tapes, getting us to realize that we're so much more than just our grocery lists and our household chores and our tending to our families. We have a deep seated wellspring of soul consciousness that we carry as a collective as human beings. So, over the last week, I've been present to things, one of the things I've been present to is how deeply embedded people's stories are within their physiological realm. That includes their everyday life, but also includes their bodies. And one of the gifts of being psychic, which I love, is not fortune telling, but being able to say to someone, kind of don't go this way, more like a prophetess, I think, or this is what will untangle the knot that you found yourself in, not that they caused, but that they found themselves in. And I rarely actually am so specific unless I'm very clear it is to avoid a less than less than favorable outcome or immediate outcome at least, because things are always moving to the next greater whole. I just think that there was a time when humanity was available to that, and we just haven't been available to how beautifully creation takes care of us. Oh, I forgot this was live. Hi. I was mostly trying to record this because I want to do a Substack post. I want to write something out for people to read, but it just felt wrong not to be vulnerable and not to be raw and not to be in the direct experience of what I've been in all day. So one of the things, yes, it's her name is Esme, She's metal and she's a dragon. And she has a daughter named Yolanda, which is to my left. And she has a son, O'Shane, that's behind her that you can't see. And I love her. And when I had COVID and post COVID, I spent a lot of time between her wings. So something happened this morning. It was a AI image. And I really was stunned how it hit me in the gut. I wasn't really ready for it. And I was struggling with it for 2 or 3 hours. And then I realized that I remembered when I got what I call soul sick, which means I'm not really physically sick. I'm not really emotionally sick. I was crying a lot. I'm not really mentally ill. Soul sick is when, I don't know, you feel the soul of humanity is taking a lot of punches right now, just a lot of punches. But this particularly AI image really gut wrenched me. It doesn't matter who the person was, really. It was that it was in such a direct violation of this extraordinary human being that came to Earth that told us to love one another and treat our neighbors as if they were ourselves. And it's not really the philosophy or the teaching, it was more the possibility that was created that a lot of human beings, in their own manner, even if it wasn't this particular person, in their own manner have been living into this desire for loving one another, being loved by each other, caring about each other, supporting each other, just really basic, simple needs. But I get so fragile when I'm sucker punched, when I feel the sucker punch in the gut of humanity. The last time was 9/11. I spent like 2 or 3 weeks just in abject grief. But it wasn't so much the circumstances of it, it was that you could feel the rupture in the human soul. As humans carry a collective soul. We're not even designed to be separate from each other. So we have a soul disease, a collective soul disease that some of us are aware of, and some of us stay well inside of it. But until our species remembers our original nature of our original design and stops hating each other and stops trying to kill each other and stops trying to be the only one expression of a species, which isn't even true in animals or birds or insects. Our soul is sick. Our human soul is sick. So why am I doing this? Why am I doing this recording right now? And yes, I am doing okay. Thank you. I have a collective community, a global community, and it got started back in 2014. And I love like we have this and we have Substack and we have other things where we can be intimate with each other because we just don't do well if we're not sharing our soul, just very simply said, whether it's in a moment of grief or in a moment of laughter or in a moment of joy and well being. We're designed to storytell, we're designed to make beautiful stories, and we've had trouble doing that lately. But the reason I'm on this recording and realizing it was live, I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I thought was that in case I can touch another, in case we can, just by my words and your responses, um, there's um, there's a something that gets revealed, something becomes available because we're really willing to literally bare our soul highly, as I can see. as I can see in some of the comments. Don't get hooked, everybody. Believe me, I have been in the face of people that have a lot to say about me, but and a lot to say about each other, but it doesn't change the message. And it just doesn't change what human beings are designed to be. Also, I carry a strength of resonance and a strength of connection that, regardless of what somebody responds to or reacts to, it still gets in. And I don't know the original nature or the original design of every human being, but I do know there's some fundamental laws. One is that we don't do well alone, we become bitter and hateful. One is that we join groups that allow us to be bitter and hateful because we're so afraid to love and care again. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the consciousness of humanity has been through a huge amount of trauma, and I think we're all trying to recover. So I don't know most of you that are on this call, and I'm surprised you found me. Um, there must be meaning behind that. But even now, we're all together. Do you understand? We're all together. The rage, the anger, the dismissal, the condescension. You see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're still all part of one soul. And Michael, just to let you know, I started doing what I do when I was 19 years old. And yes, I am an old lady. I am 80. And I have watched, I have a gigantic clientele. I have a global community, and I have watched human beings restore their soul and their soul consciousness. And from the time I was a little girl, I knew how beautiful human beings are and how beautiful they're designed to be. And you know what else, Michael? People are welcome to their own reality. And yours is being very, very made clear on this call. And I wish you luck in it. If you really think that's what gives life and has life be wonderful and exciting and adventuresome, I'm glad you're on the call and I trust you to carry it forth. It's just not what I learned. It's not what I experienced. And it's not the world I want to live into. So maybe today in this surprise, kind of didn't expect to do it. YouTube, maybe all of us on this call, we can just take a little time to look at ourselves and see what we hold our life to be and what we hold to be real and true. That's what it is to be faithful, you know. Every human being has their own world and live it through. I did a, uh, I did a, what do you call it? Uh, I put a quote. I made a quote, and the quote was, one of the fundamental problems of human beings at this time is they think their truth is a universal truth. I'm just sharing my world. I'm just sharing what I'm present to. We use five words in our collective global community: vulnerability, intimacy, transparency, affinity, and love, the vital forces of reality. And without those vital forces, something goes missing. Something profound and wonderful goes missing. And as you can see with my dragon, we kind of live on behalf of the awe and wonder of what it is to be alive. Oh, Michael, you're adorable. Okay, I've recovered from terminal cancer. I had polio at the age of 3. I was told I would never walk again. I walked by the time I was 11. I had post COVID, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. Oh my God, I did learn defeat. I learned how it leads to beauty and how it leads to being supported and how it leads to the best of life. Ah, oh my God. Oh my God. Everybody, I totally did expect this. I'm fascinated that you would even want to engage with me since I'm such a poor messenger. Take precious care, everybody. And thank you for finding each other just for this moment in time. Sometimes these moments in time, you know what? They're just, life is never the same again. Namaste.